Hey guys, it is April from Getting Hooked With It. I have my May book haul for you here and I've got tons of books. I was sent a bunch of books from publishers and an author and I want to dive into these with you as well as a few books that I bought myself at library sales. So let's get into it. The first book that I want to talk to you about is The Reluctant Fortune Teller by Keziah Frost. Now, Keziah Frost actually sent this book to me herself. She's the author. She actually wrote in here, I hope the story makes you laugh, and I'm very much interested in this one. This is apparently a really good book for those of you who enjoyed A Man Called Ove. It's kind of got a similar tone here, and this is about Norbert, who is in his 70s. Yeah, he's 73. He's totally broke. He's alone, except he has this little chihuahua that keeps him company. So suddenly a group of women that call themselves the Carlotta's Club show up in his life and really change his life for the better. They seem to convince him that he should become the town's fortune teller, and it's about his experience. It just sounds very, very sweet, and I personally love this cover. I think it's really cute. One thing I find really, really sweet about the design of this is that each chapter has like different cards all over them, and I just think that's a really sweet little touch. Whoever did the design of that did a really good job. Thank you so much to Keziah for sending this my way, and if you liked A Man Called Ove, it sounds like this would be a really good book to pick up next. Okay, next I was sent two books from Amazon. Amazon publishes books. I don't know if you know that, but they do, and this is under their Lake Union imprint. And so we've got The Weight of Lies by Emily Carpenter. Now this was a huge book a couple of years ago. I think it was the summer of, I want to say 2016, this was a really big book. And this is about a woman who is investigating the 40-year-old murder that inspired her mother's best-selling novel. Our main character, Meg, decides to write a memoir about her mother, and that leads her to the town where this horrific murder happened. So the town is called Bonny Island, Georgia. People at the town tell her to leave it alone, and it sounds like everything kind of crumbles. It sounds amazing. I also received Every Single Secret, also from Emily Carpenter. Now this is her latest book. It doesn't say the release date, but I know it's either out or is coming out this summer. So Every Single Secret sounds super disturbing. This is about a woman named Daphne. She has a fiance named Heath. Now Heath has these really bad nightmares, and it's put a strain on him and also the relationship. So they decide to go on this retreat, and she's all for it, anything to make Heath feel better. When she gets there, there are all of these strange rules at this retreat. It's only 7 days, but these rules are very odd. And so one night she decides to leave her room. And when she leaves her room, she finds out something, or she sees something that makes her realize that Heath's past is actually incredibly disturbing. His past isn't meant to be heard. It's meant to be silenced. Doesn't that sound amazing? Thank you so much to Amazon and Lake Union Publishing for sending this my way. Okay, the next two books were sent to me from England, actually, from the bookseller. I was so excited to get I Am by Maggie O'Farrell. This is about, it's like a memoir of a sort about Maggie O'Farrell's 17 Brushes with Death. And what's so interesting about this book is that it's written in sections, so in body parts essentially. So every chapter is a different body part. Number 1 is neck. Number 7 is baby and bloodstream. Number 11 is cranium. And it sounds fantastic. I've only heard good things about this, and I've been meaning to pick this up for such a long time. So I was extremely excited when the bookseller, and they reached out to me to let me know that they could send me this book. So thank you so much. They also kindly sent me Helen Dunmore's Birdcage Walk. This is kind of a mix between historical fiction and a bit of a mystery. This takes place in 1792 in Europe, and we follow a woman named Lizzie Fox, and she married a man named John Diner Tredevant. He's a property builder. Now, Lizzie isn't the kind of wife that he expected to get. She is bold, she's independent thinking, and to his mind, she belongs to him. Law and custom confirm it, and she must live as he wants. So it sounds like it's about this battle between this couple, where a woman has absolutely no rights, but in her heart knows that she should. And it's about their experience together, and it sounds fantastic. I'm really, really excited for this one. I should mention that the bookseller sent me both of these books because they were both nominated for the British Book Awards 2018, and I was so eager to read them. Now I've got 3 books that were kindly sent to me by Penguin Random House Canada. The first is Whistle in the Dark by Emma Healy. Now Emma Healy wrote Elizabeth is Missing, which I have on my shelves, but I still have not read, and I desperately want to. But Whistle in the Dark is about a girl who goes missing for, is it 3 or 4 days? She goes missing, she shows up. Her parents have been absolutely petrified all of that time. She shows up and she doesn't remember anything about her experience when she was away, and she won't talk about it. And this is about her and also her mother trying to get information out of her, try to understand what in the world happened. And I'm so excited for this. And the cover is so dark and gripping, and yes. I also received The Mandela Plot by Kenneth Bonner. I had no idea how huge this book is. This is such a big book and also really heavy book. I'm going to read the little blurb for you about this one because it's hard to explain. So as the 1980s draw to a close, South Africa is a maelstrom of political violence, the apartheid regime in its death throes. Young Martin Helger is a misfit at an elite private boys' school in Johannesburg, with his father a rough-handed scrap dealer and his brother a mysterious legend. When a beautiful and manipulative young American woman arrives at the family home, Martin soon finds himself wrenched out of his isolated bubble and thrust into the raw heart of the struggle. At the same time, secrets from the past begin to emerge, and old sins, long buried, return in terrifying new ways, tearing at the Helgers, a second-generation Jewish family. Even as the larger forces of history and politics tear apart the country, mercy is in short supply, and ultimately, Martin must rely on unlikely strengths to protect himself and fight for a better future. I don't feel like there's been a lot of buzz around this book for some reason. I haven't heard about it a lot on BookTube, but to me it sounds absolutely fantastic. And then finally, Penguin Random House Canada also sent me another book that I never asked for, but it arrived in my mailbox and I was pretty excited about it when it arrived. It's called The Exes Revenge by Joe Jakeman. It sounds kind of interesting. It's a psychological thriller about a marriage that is absolutely falling apart. Philip has cheated on Imogen and they're getting a divorce, but he is determined to make it as absolutely hard as possible. So they have a son together. Philip says, you have to move out of my house within a month, I think, or he'll sue for sole custody. So in a moment of just sheer desperation, she decides to lock him in the basement of the home. And it's about what happens after she locks him in. This sounds really fun, and this one is coming out in September, and it really does sound fun. It sounds like a really good like beach read, you know? I was also sent another thriller from Raincoast Books. This is called Halcyon. This is about a place called Halcyon, and Halcyon is meant to be this oasis, this utopia. It is an island in the middle of Lake Ontario, and it contains like a self-sustaining community made up of people who want to live without fear, crime, or greed. And Martin Lovegrove has had a very, very difficult time of it. He decides to move his whole family to Halcyon, and once they get there, he realizes this might not be a utopia after all. It might be something much more sinister. It just sounds like a lot of fun, and also sounds like a really good read for summer. Me again, I completely forgot to mention that I also received Foe from Simon & Schuster Canada, which is extremely exciting. This is by Ian Reid, and Ian Reid wrote I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which was my favorite thriller of last year. Now this is more like sci-fi horror, and it's about a couple named Junior and Hen. They live on a farm in a not too distant time from now, but I think it's about like 50 years from now or something. And a man shows up one day who says that Junior has randomly been selected to travel far away from the farm, and arrangements have been made so that when he leaves, Hen won't have a chance to miss him at all because she won't be left alone, not even for a moment. It sounds very disturbing, and I've started reading it. I'm like 50 pages in, and it is disturbing. I have no idea what's going on. Very similarly to I'm Thinking of Ending Things, where you're like, what in the world is happening? But I'm loving it. I totally forgot to mention it for my little haul. So on with the haul. Okay, so now on to the books that I purchased myself. First, I got Those Who Save Us by Jenna Bloom, and I have been wanting to read this for so long. I was so excited when I found this at a library sale. This is a World War II historical fiction book about, well, it's about a girl named Trudy. She is burying her mother. As she is going through her mother's things, she finds a family portrait showing Anna, Trudy's mother, Trudy herself as a baby, and also a Nazi officer. Now, Trudy is a German history professor, and she starts to unearth what actually happened in her mother's life. Why would they be posing with a Nazi officer? This doesn't make any sense. And she dives in. I also picked up Ready Player One. I thought that I would be able to find this one at a book sale or like Value Village or something, but it never came to be. And so I picked it up on Amazon, and everyone knows what this is about. This is takes place in 2044. People are obsessed with this video game called Oasis. Now, the maker of this game is dying or has died, and he's placed little clues in the video game, and whoever figures out the mystery will win this man's fortune. And this man who created this video game is incredibly wealthy, and so we follow a young teenager named Wade Watts as he tries to find all of these clues. And it sounds really fun. It's recently been made into a movie, I think directed by Steven Spielberg, so I'm very eager to read this before I watch the movie. Okay, finally is a book that my mom gave to me. I had actually given this to her for Christmas a couple of years ago, so she's done with it and has given it to me, and it's The Boy Who Drew Monsters, and this sounds really creepy. This follows a little boy named Jack. He nearly drowned, and ever since then he has started drawing monsters. The monsters apparently take on a life of their own. Now his mom, Holly, has started to hear strange sounds coming from the ocean, and she hears them specifically at night. His dad keeps seeing a strange apparition when he's down on the beach, and only little Jack understands really what's going on. It sounds like a really fun horror novel, and I'm very, very eager for this. And it's gotten a lot of hype from like Jennifer McMahon, Eowyn Ivey, and I am super excited for this. So yeah, so those are all of the books that I got. Holy man, there were a lot. I was so lucky to get so many amazing books from publishers, and I'm so eager to dive in. This is going to be an awesome summer. I'm so into like thrillers and horrors right now. That's all I want to read at this moment, so it's going to be a good summer. I hope that you guys are doing really well. Let me know in the comments below what thriller you're most excited to read this summer. I would love to know, and I will talk to you later. Bye!